Women's intuition is so strong. So that just brings in a whole new level. Hello again, and welcome to another Reacts Raw, where my producers have picked something for me to react to that I've never seen before. Today we are playing with Should I Divorce My Cheating Husband? We have a kid. The dilemma. Oh, so it looks like she's gonna ask a panel of people.
I am married with a child, but my husband cheated on me. Should I leave him? Yes or no?
Oh, this is interesting. She's gonna get a huge array of
We brought together a group of strangers to help an anonymous person make one of their toughest decisions.
Oh, that's really interesting.
I went through his Apple Watch. You know, I scroll up and it's the whole sexual conversation. That was him being selfish. So why not choose me?
After hearing the group's advice, which choice will this person make? This is the dilemma.
I'm curious because she was saying that she was reading through his text messages. I'm wondering if he cheated emotionally or physically. Not that one is worser than the other, but it's interesting. I hope we find out. So 5-2, 5 say leave him.
No side, because I believe in second chances.
I knew that there was more information, but my gut instinct was like, it's a yes for now.
How long have you two been together?
6.5 years. So we're like a military couple, so it was one of those, I meet you, we fall in love, we get married. What made us really close was that we realized we were from similar backgrounds. Like, we both grew up in the Caribbean, we both kind of like the same music, the same type of things.
Did he honestly admit that to you, or did you come about finding that out like?
I had 3 dreams that he cheated, and I was...
Women's intuition is so strong. It's interesting because she's saying that she had 3 dreams that he cheated, and I imagine that she said something to him like, oh, I had this really bad dream that you cheated on me, and he probably brushed it off. But here's the thing about intuition with women is it's strong, and we may not always know what it is, but we know the feeling. We know when something is out of balance. We know when something isn't right. And men have this too, this gut instinct. In this case, I'm just saying women's intuition because it's what she's talking about. The dreams are trying to tell her something. The dreams are trying to tell her that in her subconscious, she's noticing something. She's noticing signs and signals that something isn't right.
I was like, okay, I need to check something. So I went in his Apple Watch and I saw it. The female was labeled under a male's name. And when I asked him about it, I said, hey, I just want to figure this out. He came clean, like right off the bat. He was out of the house before he cheated. The reason why that happened is because we got into a bit of a tussle. I came downstairs and he was on the phone with said girl because they worked together. There was a little rumor that she liked to sleep with married men. We got in a tussle. He was out of the house. Then he cheated. He pretty much went on like a week-long.
All right, so here's the thing. He was already having some kind of relationship with this other woman, whether it was emotional or physical. Then they broke up, and then it definitely moved into physical. So it's absolutely cheating on both sides of that story.
Going over her house and drinking and getting physical.
Was this just sex, or was this like a full-on like affair, like relationship?
He said for him it was just sex. There wasn't any going out to dinner, any like...
So he's saying that it was just sex. What we know though is for an emotional relationship to happen over text, you're sharing who you are, you're sharing your wants and desires, and probably talking about how his wife and how she's not meeting his needs. He's opening up in a way that is intimate. So it's not just about sex. Sex is just the fun part, but there is the emotional part that is also being met here.
Dinner, any like crazy I love you text or I miss you or anything like that.
Has it been a pattern? And I would include anything like pornography or anything.
It's a good question.
With him?
Yes.
No, that was the first and only time that I know of.
You said you have a son, right? Mm-hmm. How has he been impacted by this? Does he know?
So he's 4. So in the beginning, because there was a time where he wasn't living in the house, and my son would actually cry at night, I want daddy, and I was just like, it made me sad.
I'm not sure. She's saying there was a time when dad wasn't in the house. I don't know if that's because of the cheat thing or if they were already having issues earlier in their relationship and then dad wasn't there, but it's definitely impacted their relationship.
Is he doing anything, or has he suggested anything to repair your relationship?
So he wants to do marriage counseling, but he wants to do individual counseling for himself first, which he's actually doing right now. Okay. And he tries to plan like little dates and stuff like that. He's trying, I guess.
So please move now if you feel like you should be standing on another side.
Obviously, there's more to the story. So it sounds like they were absolutely having issues in their relationship, communication being a really big one, needs not being met. He's saying that he wants to go to counseling by himself first, which for me, I love that idea. If he is feeling like he has unmet needs, then being able to talk to somebody about it and figure out what that is to first identify it is going to be huge in helping him understand if he wants to work on this relationship. He might get to the bottom of his own garbage can and see that this isn't the relationship that he wants to work on. And that would be doing her a favor, even though it would be painful. We do have to do our own work. We have to be able to show up. If we're going to stay in a relationship, we have to be able to show up as our best selves. Sometimes that's a work in progress, and it sounds like that's what he's wanting to do. It's just a little bit hard to see, not knowing all of the clues and the patterns, but I'm definitely pro him doing his own counseling and then them doing something together, mainly to figure out how to work on their communication skills so that they can ask for what they're needing and not looking outside of their relationship to get those needs met. So now the people have to decide if they still think that she should leave him or not.
I think one of them was he's going to therapy. And at that point, I'm like, well, I mean, if he's doing the work and you kind of sound like that's something you want, then maybe I'm on the wrong side.
When your husband was away, how did you feel?
Being honest, I missed him a lot. I had to put up a wall to where it's just like, don't feel anything. I still have that question in the back of my mind. Is it worth working out after he finishes his therapy and everything?
Do you feel like you'll be happier?
That's such a good question for her to ask, and I'm really proud of her for having that insight. Is it worth working out? Because just like he has to find that out for himself, she has to find that out for herself as well. Because you have to, like I said, you have to be able to show up.
I feel like I could probably hit the pinnacles that I haven't hit yet. I think I'm that girl, you know? And I think sometimes when you're with someone, you don't have enough freedom to go do certain things. How it is right now, we're still in the same living space. Call me a dumb bitch, but yes, sometimes we have sex. Sometimes I have sex with other people.
Okay, so they're in an open
The
relationship.
trust is gone on your side. Is your faith the only thing that's kind of really tying you to this?
So that just brings in a whole new level. So she's having sexual intimacy with her husband and with other people. She didn't say if he knows about it, and she didn't say if he's also doing the same thing, but it sounds like she's checked out.
That's a part of it. My son is a very minute part of it because I don't want to be one of those people that stays because of the child. And then also the fact that he's taken all the right steps for himself. He's finally admitting like his childhood trauma and just the stress of the job that he had around the time that he was cheating. I believe in people getting second chances if they're deserving and if they put in the work.
If your mind has changed and you want to move to the other side, this will be another moment and opportunity that you can do that.
So it's interesting, like we have this idea of, oh, people deserve second chances, and oh, if they're putting in the work. But she's not talking about what she wants. The only thing that she's told us so far is that she doesn't feel like she can be her most expressed self with him. So unless she's getting her own counseling to really figure out what she wants, none of this is going to matter. Right now, she's asking strangers to make a choice for her because she doesn't want to have to make it for herself. And coming from my background as a people pleaser, I know that so well. I've always wanted other people to make the decisions for me, to give me the things that I needed so I wouldn't have to ask for it, so I wouldn't have to make the hard decisions, so I wouldn't have to say the difficult things. And so she's passing this on to other people because she doesn't want to have to make that hard choice. She doesn't want to have to be the bad guy.
I stayed where I was hesitantly.
It's so interesting because there's no black and white answer, right? There's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. Relationships are not black and white. There is so much gray area. There's red and orange and yellow and green and blue and purple areas. It's all going to come down to each partner really going inside, really looking at themselves, healing those traumas. Like she said, he's coming into contact with his childhood trauma and being willing to work on that. Both partners need to be willing to do that deep work so that they can show up for themselves, so that they can show up for the relationship.
I kept coming back to the fact that her husband was making an effort. I think love is work. Love is a lot of work.
I wanted to go to the no side. Like, I wanted it to work. They've talked about it before, that he's working on himself, but I just felt in my heart and in like my bones, I was like, I think they're better off just separate.
Air Force, ex-husband, Air Force.
You get it.
Met in tech school. I got stationed here in LA. I deployed to Detroit to help with the vaccines out there. Came back and found out he was cheating on me with one of like the closest people that I had met back in our old base. Going through the divorce, it fucking broke me down, but I am finally getting to live a life that I'm actually proud of.
If he's doing the work and the reciprocation is there and he wants to, then it would change my answer. But then if there's still no trust, then that's where my struggle is.
In her situation, it sounds like her husband is taking those initial steps, the very beginning steps to do that.
I think it comes down to trust. At the end of the day, do you think he's going to do this again?
So here's the interesting thing. If he doesn't heal, then he's already created a pattern. So most likely he will cheat again. He will break trust again. But when people do the inner work, when we heal from our traumas, we become a different version of ourselves. So I wouldn't say, oh no, once a cheater, always a cheater. It's really going to depend on that healing work that's done.
Do you still trust him?
No. I can do better, but then you have all the factors like our son and, you know.
Yeah, so she keeps saying that there's all these other factors and they're not happy. She wants out.
I think like, I wish they were still together, but now knowing, more, if they were together, my life would have been a lot worse. I mean, it sucks to have parents that are divorced or that fight or anything like that, but sometimes, it's not worth like fighting for as much.
If I was your best friend, I would say divorce is still on the table, but you're angry right now, and you need to work through that anger. I think it would be good if he is a part of that and gets to understand what he has done to you.
I was with a man for 10 years, spent all of my 20s with him, had a baby by him.
I love what she said, that you need to work through that anger. I like to think of it as opposed of needing to getting to. She gets to work through this anger. I think no matter who we end up with in our life, when we pick our partner, there's going to, and this could be for friends as well, there are going to be situations that arise, and anytime that we're triggered with a quote unquote negative response, It's our body's way of saying, hey, there's something here that's ready to be healed. So whether she works through this anger with him in the relationship or not, it's still something that she gets to do for herself if she chooses to do that, if she's brave enough and courageous enough to look at her own anger and to really dig down to that root cause to find out what is there ready to be healed.
Had a baby by him, gave him everything, and he cheated. I stayed. He had great days of being amazing, but there was always that fear as well of what happens when you're not enough again.
Personally, I feel like they would be better off handling their own situations
Exactly. Separately.
Exactly.
Yes. If she still genuinely feels like she could be happier on the outside, then I would say go for it.
Things happen so fast in Missouri, and they desperately need to slow down.
Divorce is final, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to repair the trust that was lost, but I believe you can.
For me, like the most important is to remember you and not letting any of the outside noise, meaning your friends, your family, the naysayers, dare I say religion, keep you in that box if you decide that you are no longer happy.
Maybe this relationship is salvageable. Things that break can come back better than ever. It can come back stronger than ever if they're given that chance. But, you know, divorce is still an option, even if you choose to stay for now.
Tiffany, can you just kind of tell us how you're feeling right now?
Still a bit confused, however, I feel like I have a decision. That's my man, and I'm gonna stick beside him. In another lifetime. Okay. This weekend, actually, I ordered some moving boxes, so I guess I'm gonna start packing. I am going to drive cross country, hopefully with like a buddy, and I'm gonna live with my dad for a while. In this situation, it's not just me, it's me and it's my son. I just want to get out of the space. And I think with time, the actual paperwork will come. But as far as like me in the physical and me in the mental, I pretty much think I'm divorced. So whoever is watching this, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
That is a really powerful line. Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. Again, there's no black and white, there's no right or wrong. It's really going to depend on each individual couple and the different energies that each partner brings to that relationship. My only advice here is before you leave, try to do everything possible to save it so that if you choose divorce, you can look back without regrets. The people that I have talked to that have moved too quickly into divorce have all said that they regret not taking the time to do the work first. So do the work for yourself. Hopefully your partner will do the work for themselves, do the work for the relationship, and then make that choice from there. Thank you so much for joining me in this Reacts Raw video. This has been your ray of sunshine, and I invite you to check out the next one. See you there.